All right, next we have a presentation by Mr. Cushman regarding Grossmont Center. Mr. Cushman, thank you for joining us this evening. Good, Mr. Cushman and friends.
Thank you, thank you. I enjoyed listening to Mary because I sat on the last airport task force representing the Port of San Diego, and I think that was 8 years ago, and we were looking at the same alternatives. So that is frustrating service, I have to tell you. We have to give it to Mary for that, because it is tough service over there. Good evening. I'm Steve Cushman. I represent the Cushman family, and I have the pleasure of a lot of history that goes back on the Grossmont Shopping Center. I'd first like to introduce the folks that are with me tonight. My grandson, who is our family's representative to Grossmont, Nicholas Parrish. Sitting next to him, Ben Potter, who is head of operations, assistant general manager of the shopping center. Been there how long, Ben? 8 years? 8 years. And representing our real estate team of brokers, Mike Mosier, a local guy known by some members of this group I know. We hear there's some good stories, but I'm sure, Mr. Mayor, they go both ways.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. Let me give you a little history. First of all, our family came to San Diego County in the 1860s. We settled in Julian. At some point, over 100 years ago, the family purchased what we know as Grossmont Shopping Center today. Now, if you dig down 1 inch below the dirt, you find nothing but rocks. So they were farmers, but I doubt that they farmed. They may have run cattle on it. That's certainly possible, or as I like to joke, maybe they won it in a poker game. I have no idea. But over 100 years ago, the family bought the property. And in the 50s, my father had tremendous foresight, and he believed that retail shopping would come to the suburbs, if you would. Interestingly enough, the balance of our family didn't agree with Dad. So he went out and he got Montgomery Ward and Marston's out of downtown San Diego and Jessup's, and a number of shoe stores and other retailers went back to the family and said, this is the future. Now, our family's business was the newspaper business at the time, so it wasn't that, he was in retail or had any idea what it was all about. The balance of our family said, Elliot, this is never going to work. So the last of the family lands were divided up, and our family was fortunate enough to end up with Grossmont. One of the first real estate deals I ever made as a young man was buying out Mr. Bartolacci, who was a sheep farmer right next door. And I remember going up and down the hills, and it was just all rocks at that time. Well, lo and behold, Dad then brought in Del Webb, who at that time was a large general contractor out of Arizona, owned a piece of the New York Yankees, and Webb leased the land from the family for 50 years. Webb had two partners, not surprisingly, the Daly family of San Diego, who were earth movers, which was a huge part of turning Grossmont into a retail shopping center because it had to be leveled through all of those rocks. So Daly was a partner, and the former general counsel of Brunswick out of Chicago. And as Webb moved forward, got into some problems, the Chicago family took over the center. And so for the past 50 years, we have been passive owners, appreciating our monthly checks, but having nothing to do with the day-to-day operation of the shopping center. That all ended a week ago last Sunday. 50 years later, the lease ended, and all of a sudden, we are in charge. Probably the first shopping center in the United States of America that ever came back to its original owners. And there was a promise made to La Mesa and to the community to make it a community shopping center. That's why you see a lot of plantings, a lot of flowers, a lot of grass, a lot of trees, because that was the commitment that we made, that the shopping center made to the city of La Mesa. The last 18 months, we've been releasing the center because every lease was up last Sunday. 130 leases. So Mike and his team and his folks successfully released now over 95% of the shopping center. And Mike was telling me tonight, quite frankly, that compares to any shopping center anywhere in this county. And to think that in basically 12 months, they did over $100 million worth of leases. What does all this mean to all of you in this city? It's over 20% of your sales tax revenue. So we're very proud of that. We guard that jealously, but we're going to get very aggressive at Grossmont And you really want to see that because that's more sales tax dollars. So we've brought in a very aggressive advertising agency. You may have seen our first full page, a junior full page in the Union Tribune this last weekend. It was 4-color. You'll see it every week in the Union Tribune. We shot a TV commercial last Saturday and Sunday at the center. You'll start to see us on TV. We're now on radio. We're going to be doing monthly mailings. We've taken over all of the Facebook, all of the Yelp, all of that. While doing all of that, Ben and his folks have started reinvesting into the center. So if you look outside of Barnes & Noble where there used to be big old bushes and you couldn't see from one side of the center to the other, those are all gone. You now see a beautiful landscaped area with lots of flowers. We spend twice as much as any center in this town on landscaping, and we will continue to do that. We think it's the lure of the center. We think it's the lovely part of the center. If you just want to go walk and just goof around for a while, it's a great place to be, and we'll continue to do that. The family's committed to reinvesting in the center. You'll see new mall furniture, you see new logos, you see new landscaping. We've agreed to put over $200,000 into remodeling the 5-story medical building, the entire interior of that building, the carpets, the walls, the doors, the ceilings, the light fixtures, everything in that building is being totally redone. So, where do we go from here? We've been working with Dave and his staff for a few years. At one point, Grossmont's over 1 million feet today. We had one plan, I think, that was 8 million feet, which would just be way too much. But it's going to be mixed use. We can see residential. We can see retail below the residential. We can see hopefully a hotel of a couple of hundred rooms. We can see new retail and new stores, new medical complexes. And that's why we're starting with the 5-story medical building, because that one, the bones are good. We just need to redo the interior, then we'll eventually do the exterior, and piece by piece we'll go down the road. We have not concentrated on where do we go from here. We've been trying to concentrate on how do we keep everybody in the center. So we're over 95% leased in the center itself. Medical's over 83% leased. So we are in very good shape. As I say, we will get very, very aggressive from an advertising and marketing standpoint, because we think it's one of the best kept secrets in this county. So that's why when we buy the Union Tribune, we buy television, we buy radio, we want to bring people to the center, not just be a convenience center for folks. We want it to be a wonderful experience. Guest services will be where Zales is now. They'll be leaving at the end of the month. That's going to be guest services in there. We're going to put a community room in there. It'll be open for anybody to use for board meetings or whatever anybody would like to do. We will host them at the center. We will look to do things like that. We'll do lots of activities. Next month it's called, what is it? Cupids? Cupids and Canines, and we're going to have 150 animals up for adoption, dogs. So we'll be doing lots of promotions every month, but there'll be fun promotions, and that's what we're doing. The website is brand new. It's a work in progress. It's just started, but the website is brand new, and we're looking to become a bigger and better part of the community, and that you can count on. So if I've stayed within the time limit Yvonne gave me, I believe I'm open for questions.
All right, Council, any questions for Mr. Cushman?
Just a comment, thank you, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store. Could it be Cupids, Canines, and Cats, though? The cat. I'm a director of a cat rescue, so I have to give you a hard time. But I really look forward to it, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Sterling, and then Mr. Baber.
Steve, we appreciate the Cushmans so very much. You have added really everything to La Mesa for our tax base, and we appreciate all of you so much. My question is, I'm kind of sentimental too, and was wondering about Larry. Is he going to be still involved?
Oh yeah, my brother has moved basically to San Francisco. He has a number of real estate ventures up there. After his wife passed, unfortunately due to cancer, he started commuting between San Diego and San Francisco, and we have a number of real estate projects there. But believe me, the whole family is involved. My niece is oversees finance. My youngest daughter oversees marketing. This is a real family affair, and grandson Nicholas, who graduated from University of Arizona, San Diego State with a master's, and USD, a master's in real estate, is involved on a daily basis with the center. So there's a lot of us in this family that are deeply involved.
Oh, we're so happy you are involved.
Thank you very much.
Larry, hello for all of us.
I'll do it. I'll certainly do that.
Mr. Baber.
Steve, for the audience at home, the scope of the project, you might want to describe it. I'm assuming we all realize it's the center, we'll call it the Walmart to Target center, but how far do you go? How much of the hospital? Do you go back where Red Lobster is? Give us the footprint of
You're
the
doing a
project.
good job. Keep going, Bill.
Across the street where
Right.
Staples is that part of it too? Give us the scope.
The center is 125 acres, which is very, very large today for retail centers. I went up and looked, Nicholas and I did, at the Grove the other day, which is a big, famous shopping center, and the Americana. They're 20 acres. We're 125 acres. So what we had is, originally my father said, for the city of La Mesa, he believed they needed a hospital. So the family gave the land to the hospital district. So that was originally part of this particular piece of land. But everything else, the 3 medical buildings, the retail shopping center as you know it, the banks on the corner there, the bank building, which has been the Wells Fargo building. Next to that, we were talking earlier about Rubens and Coco's. We're down on the corner with the gas station, and then we wrap all the way around over to Red Lobster, Frazee's. Mike, can I announce what's going to be next to Frazee? Would that be out of order? All right, I'll do it anyway. What the heck? So next to, there's a Frazee, and then there's an Arby's, and then there was a used car lot. So Frazee is going to be, has re-signed. Arby's and the car lot will be gone, and that will be a brand new Sonic. So Sonic is coming to, and if you've looked at Sonics, they do great business. More sales tax. Anyway, and great hamburgers. So Sonic will be there. So every bit, and Friar Tuck's shop, so every bit of that is family land. What used to be family land was across the street. When we divided, the other side of the family got that land and sold it. But the original plat was that whole area there. So today it's 1.6 million feet. And as we redeveloped, obviously that will certainly go up. And as I say, we see a total mixed-use plan for the property.
Okay.
Yes, Mrs. Sterling.
I was wondering about the residential. Where were you thinking about that would be appropriate?
At this point, it's premature to say. I will tell you, my brother, seeing as you know Larry, his vision is where CVS and all of that is. He sees that as residential. Certainly not determined at this point. You got to look at the trolley and residential, because I think the millennials who are inhabiting these types of facilities, they want that transportation, so we're going to have to figure that out. Although when we were at the 2 shopping centers this last weekend, I kind of like the trolley that ran around, so maybe we'll have a big trolley that goes around like that. But that's where Larry sees it, is over there. So Red Lobster could conceivably be a hotel. You kind of think, and then if you kind of swept to the right a little bit across the way, then you could have residential in there. Residential today is 800 to 1,800 feet flats, and we're only San Diego State. It could be some student housing conceivably, and it's kind of an open sheet of paper at this point as to how all of it meshes, because what the millennials and the young people want today is they want everything contained. And the only thing we haven't envisioned is, and I don't know whether it would work or not, is where they could work. Because they want to live, work, play. So I'm not sure, if we could yet support a commercial building, which I would love to have also. If we could do that, then you have it all.
Any other questions? Mr. Cushman, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
just have
all.
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
So as you're obviously, your aggressive plan, as you're starting to roll it out, you're going to be doing outreach, obviously, in the community, because you were talking about what the needs are and what people are. So would I assume that Mr. Mosier would be your liaison out to the community and to the city?
I don't know, Mr. Mayor, do you think he's up to it, though?
Is he the person that we're going to be, is he the person we're going to be calling?
Yeah, he's the person that's going to be involved, that's for sure. We have been with CBRE for many, many years. We've re-signed with CBRE. They did a tremendous job for us, and we look forward to continuing to work with them. But with Mike and with Ben Potter.
Okay.
Because Ben's been here a lot of years, and Ben runs the day-to-day, and anything anybody wants. And if you have community groups that need places to meet, or, we're happy to have them. We'll work with them.
We will get in touch with him. Thank you again so much
Thank
for
you.
being here this evening.
Thank